What happens when strict rules destroy a perfectly working team? Years ago, I managed a fast food restaurant, and my whole crew was made of teenagers. They were loud, funny, full of energy, and always involved in some kind of teasing, joking, or small romantic drama. But the important thing was this: they worked hard when it mattered. Even with all their chaos, the job always got done. I wasn't a strict manager. We had a silent agreement. I pretended not to notice their water fights behind the store, or the ridiculous messages they wrote on the fridge door, and in return, they kept the kitchen clean, the prep areas stocked, and the dishes washed before I ever had to say a word. As long as no parent called to complain about a dripping wet kid arriving home after work, everyone stayed happy. Other managers in the franchise believed in strict rules, time clocks, and following every instruction exactly as written. That style worked for them. But my style worked for my team. They liked freedom, and when they felt trusted, they delivered excellent service. Our area manager was a checklist lover. He visited stores at random with a clipboard in hand. His favorite sentence was, "Task X must be done at X o'clock." My team knew all the food safety rules perfectly, and I was strict about those. But beyond that, the store often looked like what I called predictable disarray. Not perfect, but running smoothly. Every time he dropped in and saw the chaos, it annoyed him, even though the customers were happy and the food was good. One day, I got a rare message. He was coming for a planned visit. Not only that, he was bringing along someone who wanted to buy a franchise, and our store was supposed to be the example location. I was told very clearly that my team needed to be in top form and follow every company checklist. So I asked him honestly, "Do you want my crew at their best, or do you want us to follow the checklists exactly?" He said, "Both." That was the problem. My crew worked best when they could play loud music from an unauthorized MP3 player, laugh at each other's silly comments, scribble rude doodles on the fridge, and occasionally lock each other in the walk-in freezer. And strangely, with all that chaos, they worked like a well-oiled machine. If a bus full of hungry football fans walked in 20 minutes before closing, my team didn't panic. They moved faster than anyone I had ever seen. My line cook could run 3 stations alone while keeping perfect timing. My cashiers rotated smoothly, so no one missed a drink or bathroom break. I only stepped in when absolutely necessary, and because everyone helped everyone, we always finished on time. But following the checklist meant everyone had to stay in their assigned positions, even if they were not good at them. Still, I did what I was told. I pulled each employee aside, reviewed their checklist, and told them that for this one day, we had to follow everything exactly. Everyone nodded and tried to take it seriously. And then dinner rush happened. A large group of paramedics from the nearby hospital came in right after a long training session. They were exhausted, hungry, and ready to eat everything in sight. But the checklist system had only prepared us for a normal weekday night, not a sudden crowd of starving medical professionals. What happened next was pure chaos. My newest employee was stuck in the drive-thru, being yelled at by impatient customers who didn't like waiting. My best line cook, who usually ran half the kitchen alone, was stuck at the fryer looking miserable because he wasn't allowed to move to his usual spot. The happy pair who always handled the front counter together were taking turns hiding in the drinks fridge trying not to cry. No one had time to clean anything. No one could prep more food. We ran out of several items. Customers were angry, and the whole place looked like a storm had passed through. Instead of finishing on time, the crew had to work 2 hours of overtime just to get the store back in order. I took a picture of the disaster and sent it to the area manager, who already seemed to regret telling us to follow the checklists. The potential franchise buyer was disappointed. He said the staff showed no initiative and blamed it on lack of training. He also didn't like how much running and shouting a manager had to do when things went wrong. I don't think he realized how well the place normally ran, just not under his rules. The next morning, the area manager brought me a coffee and something that almost sounded like an apology. My crew got frozen Cokes as a thank you for surviving the chaos, and from that day forward, whenever someone messed up, the whole team would jokingly ask, "Are you following the checklist?"